Thank you for joining us. This month's online workshop for learning, or what we call an OWL, is on the topic of Girl Scout special days. So our council is really happy to be able to offer these sessions each month, and every month we have a different topic that we cover. So this month is Girl Scout special days. All right, so first I wanted to kind of go over my information in case you don't know me. My name is Monica Jasso, and give me just a second. Let me restart the PowerPoint here so I don't have to swap through. All right, there we go. All right, so here's my information. My name is Monica Jasso. I'm the Volunteer Services Manager for our council. Our council is Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest. My email and my phone number are on here in case you need to get a hold of me for any reason. If you're interested in presenting one of these sessions yourself in the future, then, or maybe you have a topic that you'd really like for us to cover one month, go ahead and just let me know. Send me an email and we can definitely talk about that. All right, so let's get started on today's topic. So what we're going to cover today, this is kind of like an overview of what we're going to cover today. You have it on your screen there. We're going to talk about what Girl Scout special days, or what are they. Then we'll go over why do we have Girl Scout special days, what's the point. And the special days we're going to talk about, you can see here. So we'll go over Juliet Gordon Low birthdays, World Thinking Day, Girl Scout Week, Girl Scout Sunday, Girl Scouting's birthday, Girl Scout Leader Day, Girl Scout National Convention, and then we'll go over some special days just for our council that you can add to this list. So I do want to say that each one of these days, we could really do a whole separate webinar in itself, but we are going to keep everything down to just a little detail on each one so we can get them all covered today. I'll also be able to give you some examples of how these are usually celebrated, or maybe how you and your troop can celebrate them as well. So please remember that our Girl Scout year officially runs from October through September. So that's the order that we're going to follow for the rest of the webinar today when we start covering them. We allotted an hour for this webinar. They usually run about 30 minutes, but it'll definitely be under an hour. If you have any questions, we should have time at the end where you can actually just type in your questions on the top right-hand side there. I'll see them and then I can respond. And of course, everything that we have today is going to be recorded and available online on our council website, so you can see that there anytime. All right. So first question is, what are Girl Scout special days? I love to talk about this topic, so I'm really happy we're doing that this month. They're just special occasions. Girl Scout special days are simply what we call those special times in Girl Scouting where we take the time to remember and celebrate an important occasion in Girl Scouting. I like to kind of call them our Girl Scout holidays, because that's kind of like what they are. All right, and then the next question is why? Why do we have special days in the first place? So if you think about it, nearly every organization has special occasions of their own that they celebrate. And this is especially true with Girl Scouts, because Girl Scouts has been around and strong for over 103 years now. So during that time, it's only natural that we've developed certain special days that mark occasions that are important, of significant importance to Girl Scouting. So what days we chose to celebrate in this fashion, in part, kind of define what our organization stands for. It tells us what's important to us, and it shows who we are by celebrating them. So these special days are also a way to bring us together towards a common goal, which in turn helps bring visibility to that and to Girl Scouting overall. These special days are one of the many important traditions that also make Girl Scouting so great. And by continuing to keep those traditions alive, we make sure they are here for the next generation of Girl Scouts, And of course, they're also a lot of fun to celebrate with your girls. So it's our goal that this session will help you keep that celebration for these days alive and strong so that future generations can enjoy them as well. All right, so the first special day we're going to cover is what we call our Founders Day. It falls on October 31st every year, and we know that that's Halloween, but it also happens to be a special day for us. And remember that Girl Scouting, the year for Girl Scouting officially starts October 1st. So this would be the first special day of our Girl Scout year. Founders Day celebrates the birthday of the woman who started Girl Scouting, Miss Juliet Gordon Low. While we could really do, like I mentioned before, a whole webinar devoted on just Founders Day because there's so much information on it and on the person that she was and what she liked, we're going to give you just some of the highlights on this day here. So Founders Day. You see Julia Gordon Low there with her timeline. She was born October 31st, 1860. She was born in Savannah, Georgia. She was known as Daisy. That was her nickname. In 1912, she, with the help of Sir Robert Baden-Powell, the founder of the Scouting movement, formed a Girl Guide troop in Savannah, Georgia. And then in 1915, the Girl Guides became the Girl Scouts, and Julia Gordon Low, became the first president. She remained active with the Girl Scouts until the time of her death, which was January 17th, 1927, and she died at the age of 66. And again, there's a lot of information on the woman that was Julia Gordon Low and her lasting legacy, but for now, we're just highlighting some of them. Founders Day is a really special day for girls because it's when we take time to not only think about who she was, but also how we want to transform ourselves into something bigger, bolder, and more daring, just like she did. So continuing with Founders Day or her birthday, most of the celebrations around this, if we're looking for ways to celebrate this special day, whether you're a Girl Scout, a leader, girls, maybe you want to celebrate with friends or an alumni celebration, most of these celebrations revolve around what made Julia Gordon Low who she was. For example, she loved the outdoors. She experienced deafness throughout her life. Sorry, let me go ahead and close my email so you guys don't see that. Give me just a second. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So these are some of the things, again, that Julia Gordon Low really liked and what made her who she was. So she loved the outdoors. She experienced deafness throughout her life. And she actually made it a point not to exclude girls based on any type of disability. She was also a painter. She liked to sculpt. She was an illustrator, and she even worked with iron. In fact, if you go to her birthplace in Savannah, they have a big iron gate there that she helped to make. She also loved and cared for animals, and she died of breast cancer, as we mentioned earlier. So there's a lot more to Julia Gordon Low than we've listed here, but if you want to know more, then of course, feel free to do your own research online and choose the best way to celebrate this day for you and your troop. What I'm going to do next is give you some ideas on that. So first is celebration ideas. We're going to go over a couple. So the first one is to kind of follow in her footprints. So here, based on what we know of her, are some things that we can do. For example, since she loved animals and cared for them, we could take the time to visit or volunteer at a local humane shelter or an animal rescue organization. In her honor, we could also take the time to learn the Girl Scout promise in sign language or bring awareness to breast cancer. It could also be something as simple as venturing outdoors on a simple nature hike because she loved the outdoors. She also loved artistic expression, so we could maybe create a portrait of her or of what she means to us now. Juliet was also a world traveler, so we could even take the time to learn about the countries that she traveled to. These are all examples of how we could celebrate her birthday by following in her footprints. Other ways we can celebrate is through what we call a birthday gift of service. So Daisy loved to give gifts. So why not give a Juliet Lowe birthday gift or a donation to someone who really needs it, such as maybe children in a hospital, families in a shelter for the homeless, people in a nursing home, animals in a shelter, maybe even another organization that helps people or helps the environment. And then, of course, it's always a good time to donate to the Juliet Gordon Lowe World Friendship Fund, which helps to keep her vision strong across the globe. So it could even be a service that is rendered. It doesn't have to be a tangible donation. So it could be maybe housework or yard work, or even putting on a show or a concert in her honor, something like that we could also do to celebrate. So the last idea I have here on how to celebrate her day is just have a party. Just make it fun, have a party. So at your troop meeting, you could have a cake wishing her happy birthday. We can even sing her a happy birthday. In her time, there were also no televisions, no video games, no cell phones, but there was enough people around to play games. So maybe you could play some of those games. You could also sing Girl Scout songs about her. There's a lot of those out there. One of my favorite things to do to celebrate Juliet Gordon Lowe's birthday is to take this time to teach girls some of the Girl Scout history and facts around her with fun trivia games. And there's a lot of those out there too. All right. So here you see tons of different patches that we have out there to celebrate Juliet Gordon Lowe's birthday or Founders Day. These are just some of the ones that I was able to pull up. I would really encourage you to contact your local or your nearest Girl Scout shop and see what they have available and how much they are and get details on that. I also wanted to not forget to let you know that there is in the Girls Guide to Girl Scouting Handbook for Brownies through Ambassador Girls, there is a badge called the Girl Scout Way. And the whole purpose of this badge is to celebrate Girl Scouting and its sisterhood. A lot of troops take the opportunity of Founders Day and the beginning of the new Girl Scout year to start working on these badges. It's a good way to kind of start the year off, and it helps to renew our Girl Scout spirit. And I have them all here so you can see them on the screen. All right. All right, so now that we got done with the first special day, which was Juliet Gordon Lowe's birthday, the second special day or occasion we're going to talk about is World Thinking Day. So World Thinking Day happens every year on February 22nd. Before we get into details of that day, I wanted to ask, have you ever wondered what that pin above the Girl Scout pin on the uniform is? You can see it here. It's this one here, and it's on each of the tabs. So I do get a lot of questions about it, and so I wanted to take the moment to just say that that's the WAGS pin. And WAGS stands for World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. This is the organization that Juliet Gordon Lowe worked with to create Girl Scouting initially. Girl Scouts may receive the WAGS pin at a special World Thinking ceremony. I've seen that done in the past. Girl Scouts of the USA is a member of WAGS. And so that's how we become part of a special network that really stretches across the world. In this next slide, you can see a little more information on WAGS. I have the website there at the bottom if you want more information. And WAGS is really the largest voluntary movement dedicated to girls and young women in the world, representing 10 million girls and young women from 146 countries. And like I said, they do a lot of events. They do a lot of other things. We're only going to talk about World Thinking Day, which is something they put on today. But if you want more information on them, then definitely go ahead and go to their website. All right, so World Thinking Day is February 22nd of each year. It's a day to celebrate the global sisterhood that we are a part of. World Thinking Day is actually part of the WAG's Global Action Theme based on the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, which is all aimed at improving the lives of the world's poorest people. The World Thinking Day theme for this year, 2016, is very simple. It's actually just connect. And if you go on the website, they go into much more detail of why and how they chose that theme. But this is the booklet. Every year, WAGS puts together a yearly resource pack or a guide built on the theme for the year, which is available online on the website that you see here at the bottom. This pack helps all of us explore and celebrate the meaningful connections that make our lives better, whether it's the people that are closest to us, maybe a place that we care about, or to a Girl Guide or a Girl Scout friend, maybe on the other side of the world. In the activity pack, which is this booklet here, there's a lot of activities for the Girl Scouts, for all of us really, to complete. And they're made for every level as well. So, for example, one of the activities in there that you'll find is based on the fact that more than 4 billion people around the world don't use the internet. So 90% of those people live in the developing world. So with your friends, it's asking our Girl Scouts to go off the grid for 24 hours. So it asks them to try going one full day without the internet, without cell phones, tablets, TV, and other electronics that we can think of. Then after that, we get together and we talk about the experience. That's just one of the activities, for example. Once you've finished, or girls, any troop or girls have finished the World Thinking Day activity requirements that are in this packet, it encourages us to celebrate that event. So we may have a party or some special meal together. Maybe take a moment for each girl to share something about her experience with the group, like what was her favorite part, would she do anything different, that type of thing. So here is the packet. I want to say it's about 20 something pages, and it's really well put together. This is the badge that we have for World Thinking Day this year. It's about 2 inches round. It's a sew-on photo patch. So definitely contact your nearest Girl Scout shop for information on how to purchase these badges. If the patch was earned by the girls by completing the requirements that we talked about in the activity pack that we mentioned, it may be worn on the front of the uniform. But we also have a lot of girls out there that wear it on the back, and that's okay too. All right, so moving along with World Thinking Day, I wanted to briefly speak about how our council, Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest, usually celebrates this occasion. So for us, this event has usually been celebrated by our service units. So some service units may even call this celebration an international tea or something similar to that. They usually include that each troop select a WAGS country, or a country that has the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts in it, or a member of it. And then the troop prepares to represent that country through doing their own research and such. And then there's a display at an event that each troop would have, and it would include things like a flag parade, swaps. The girls love to make the swaps and, swap them at the event. There's also usually like some type of food sample that each troop would have that's regional to that country, and then skits. So there's a time where troops that are interested can get on stage and do a skit relevant to that country that they looked into. So while this event is usually celebrated by service units, it could just as easily be a troop event. It's really up to the girls, and it depends on your area. Just ask the girls and see what they would like to do. Make sure to contact your membership manager or your service unit for more information to see how this is celebrated in your area. All right, so here I have some pictures that I was able to kind of get a hold of. And these are pictures of an event that we had here for our council last year. And it was to celebrate World Thinking Day. I think they called it the International Tasting Tea Celebration. Each celebration is going to be different. They can be small, they can be big. The important thing is just for the girls to discover the meaning behind World Thinking Day and to make it their own. So you see here, usually there's like a passport that the girls will get, where they get to have it stamped or get a sticker for each country that they visit when they go around at this event. There's a parade of flags that usually starts this event. This is where they would have a World Thinking Day ceremony as well, where the girls could get their World Thinking Day pin. These two pictures here are examples of how the tables or the displays would look. So I believe this country was Peru. So they had dress customary to that country, pictures, information. And this is Ireland. So you can see it's a lot more festive. They have their swaps and such here. This is another example with the girls in front of it, and they got grease. And then here's an example of some of the Girl Scouts performing a skit. It was a dance that's native to that country. And then, of course, the swaps. We can't forget the swaps. The girls love to swap. It's really a great occasion to have the girls swap. And the swaps are usually things that relate to that country that they looked into. All right. So that's it for World Thinking Day. The next special day that we're going to go over is what we call Girl Scout Week. So Girl Scout Week is in March of every year. And I have a couple slides on that here. It surrounds the birthday of Girl Scouting, which is what we're going to discuss here shortly. We're going to actually look into several days within this Girl Scout Week in the next slides. This year, Girl Scout Week falls between March 6th through March 12th of this year. It's from Sunday to Saturday. So here you have more specifics. It's a national celebration, so every council across the country celebrates this exact same week. And like I mentioned, it's Sunday through Saturday. The reason that it's declared Girl Scout Week is because it contains the day that Girl Scouting began, which is March 12th. And we're going to go over that day a little more detail here in a little bit. But because Girl Scout Week is so special, there are many activities and events that can occur during this week. And that's what we're going to go over. And I'll also be able to give you some examples. So go ahead and remember, or please note that these celebrations can be done by any individual Girl Scouts, adults, troops, service unit, and even community members. We encourage everybody to kind of, get into the festivities and the celebration of Girl Scouting. So the first day in Girl Scout Week is the Sunday that it falls on. So this year, that's March 6th. Girl Scout Sunday really gives girls an opportunity to attend their place of worship and be recognized as Girl Scouts. So if a place of worship is also acting as the group sponsor, girls may be able to also perform a service like greet, usher, or maybe even do a flag ceremony. So these days, the Girl Scout Sundays can also be days where the girls can explore other faiths if they're interested. So during Girl Scout Week, the first Sunday is what we call Girl Scout Sunday, and we encourage, troops to get in contact with their local parish or their faith and see how they can or what they can do to recognize Girl Scouts on that day. One suggestion is here on the slide, and that's basically hosting a milk and cookie reception to celebrate Girl Scouts after the worship service. So your troop could maybe host a little milk and cookies reception to celebrate Girl Scout Week after the service. Troops would donate a couple of boxes and maybe milk for the reception. Make sure to also bring some information about how to join or volunteer, because you may get a lot of questions on that. And if you're really interested in doing this, please contact your membership manager for more details so they can help you as well. That was Girl Scout Sunday. So the next day we're going to talk about during the Girl Scout week is Girl Scouts birthday, which is each year on March 12th. This day commemorates the day in 1912 when Juliet Gordon Low officially registered the organization's first 18 girl members in Savannah, Georgia. So this year, 2016, will actually represent Girl Scouting's 104th birthday, if I got that right. And here on the screen, you can see some examples of how you can celebrate this day. So you could have a troop birthday party or an area birthday party for Juliet Gordon Low with the cake and all, and maybe invite, the newspaper or TV and kind of bring some attention to it. Maybe we can talk to schools and see about getting permission for the girls to wear their Girl Scout uniform or something with the Girl Scout logo during that day, if it falls on a school day. We could even take a birthday gift to a newborn baby girl, maybe the first girl born on March 12th, if, of course, we get permission from the hospital, the mom, and so forth. Another way to celebrate would be maybe to take part in a service project in honor of Juliet Gordon Low and Girl Scouting. We could also work with the city to have a city proclamation. And we do this, I know, in several parts across our council, and they get a lot of press, and the girls get all dressed, and they're very excited about it, parents as well, and the city councils always love it. It's really a great way to bring more light to Girl Scouting and the great things that we do. So if your city, if you can work with your city on getting permission for that, we gladly provide you with everything that you need to guide you through that process. And then another way to celebrate is maybe just have some more Girl Scout trivia in a troop meeting or a party or something like that. All right, so again, I have here, because I didn't want to forget to tell you all, that this is another, the Girl Scouting's birthday on March 12th is another way or another time that we could tie in the Girl Scout Way badge that is available for brownies through ambassadors. It's a really good time to tie that in if you haven't already done it. So the next is Girl Scout Week. We're still talking about Girl Scout Week, so I'm going to end it with this slide, that particular topic. There's giving you more ideas on how to celebrate. Like I said, there's a lot of different ideas out there, but here are a couple of more. So we could encourage all of us to perform random acts of kindness during Girl Scout Week. I know when the girls first get their Girl Scout pin, they're asked to do a good turn daily, which is why they get their pin upside down, and they can only turn it right side up when they've done a good deed. So it's kind of like the same concept. We can have, we could plant a tree or a rose bush in honor of Girl Scout Week. We could write and mail letters to our military, create a piece of art in honor of Girl Scout Week, videotape maybe the girls saying the Girl Scout promise or singing something Girl Scout related, and then share that for everybody to see. We could learn some more about Girl Scout history during this week, or maybe even write a poem or a song. These are other ideas for Girl Scout Week celebrations. All right, so we're done with Girl Scout Week. We're going to next move into April. And during April, we have Volunteer Appreciation Week. And this is a time to reflect on all the ways that our volunteers build girls of courage, confidence, and character who are out there making the world a better place. So that's coming up in April. During this Girl Scout Week, or around the same time, there is a Girl Scout Leader Appreciation Day. This is the other special day we're going to talk about. So this is a national day of celebration designated to celebrate our Girl Scout leaders and mentors who partner with the girls directly. This day is for everyone, whether you're active in the Girl Scout movement or not, to take the time to appreciate all of our amazing volunteers out there. So we want to encourage parents, community members, churches, teachers, everyone to really take time to celebrate and recognize our leaders. Please remember also to include the girls, the parents, and others to take part in this special day as much as possible. And there's a lot of ways that this day can be celebrated as well. So I think I have some examples of that here. Yeah. So I borrowed this from one of our sister Texas councils. I'll give you a minute to look it over. But this one has 25 ways, simple ways to tell your favorite Girl Scout leader thanks. So you can see here the 25 are listed. And there's some really good ones, some that require planning, some that don't, some that require a little bit of money spent, some that don't. My personal favorite one is number 21, which is to put a sign outside of his or her door that says something like, our leader lives here, thank you, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so, some variation of that. So I like that one because it's easy to do. It has the element of surprise, and it also lets us brag for you to everybody around you. So I like that one. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk about Girl Scout National Convention. So I wasn't initially going to put this in here, but it really is a really special time for Girl Scouting. So I wanted to talk about it a little. So Girl Scout National Convention is an event. We could not end the webinar without at least mentioning it. This is a time where thousands of Girl Scouts and volunteers gather. You have some pictures there that you can see from the last two conventions. This one was the last one, which was in Salt Lake City, Utah. This one was in Houston before that, where we celebrated the 100th anniversary of Girl Scouting. So what happens at Girl Scout National Convention, right? There is a lot that happens. I have some more pictures here. But basically it happens, the convention is every 3 years, or we call it a triennial. And it's for volunteers and Girl Scouts from all over to come together. There's a lot of things that happen, and there's definitely something for everyone. So there's usually opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies, which are fantastic and very inspiring. During the opening, there's a long parade of flags. There's great guest speakers throughout the whole convention, which is usually a weekend. Speakers from all over on different topics, very inspiring. There's also panel discussions, and this is kind of like an example of one here at the bottom. And that's where girls or community members get together to discuss a certain topic and then take questions from the audience. Those are some of my favorite, actually. There also is a parliamentary process that happens during the convention. And this is where Girl Scouts of the USA votes and decides on certain things to move the organization forward. And what is amazing is that it's a process that involves thousands of representatives from every council, and there's also times for input from them. So here, this picture, you can see a line of volunteers and Girl Scouts waiting to speak about a certain motion or vote or have discussion on. So it's a really neat process to look at and to observe. There's also a Girl Scout Leadership Institute, which is in conjunction with the National Convention, but it's a separate part just for Girl Scouts, older Girl Scouts. And they are immersed in full day workshops and seminars and guest speakers and fun events and parties and concerts. And it's just for the girls, the older Girl Scouts. There's, of course, lots of parties and celebrations to have. And there's lots of swapping that goes on. I should have put a picture in here of a woman who always goes with her trench coat full of badges and always swaps. And then, of course, there's shop sales. So there's a lot of things that happen. It's amazing. But this is just a list of some of them. If you are interested, the next Girl Scout National Convention is in Columbus, Ohio. It's next year, 2017. It's in October. Our council does have a process of accepting applications for a small number of delegates to attend this amazing event and represent our council, fully paid. In the past, we've also had a system for taking a select number of Girl Scouts to be part of the Girl Scout Leadership Institute and are also fully paid. That's what our council is able to do, but the conventions are open to anyone that's interested. And once it gets closer, we'll give more information, I'm sure. There'll be a website and it'll have all the pricing and the fees associated with it. All right, so moving along, I believe this is my last slide for you. So before we end, I had to kind of go over some of our council special days. So we've talked about a lot of national special days, but I wanted to outline some of days that our council has as well that we should keep in mind every year. So for example, our council's annual meeting is where we discuss and vote on council business and also take time to recognize our volunteers and girls. It's usually held in April. We also have lots of events and programs for girls at Miter Peak every year. And every other year in some parts of our council, we hold a special Daisy Day celebration where everyone's invited. Throughout our council, we also have several events to recognize the achievements of both our girls and volunteers. And our council also has an exclusive event for volunteers only. This is kind of like a volunteer retreat. It's usually in September. And if you want specific dates on these and more, please feel free to visit our key dates calendar, which is available on our website. Which I just noticed there's a typo. It's actually www.GSDSW.org. And you can see everything there. And I think that is it. So I actually went a lot faster than I expected, but that concludes our OWL session on Girl Scout Special Days. I know we covered quite a bit. We talked about what special days are, why we have them. Then we looked at each one specifically, both the national ones and some of our council specific ones. Feel free to review this webinar as needed and share with others. It's going to be available on our website. We hope it's been helpful, and especially in celebrating this with your girls. I hope I gave you enough examples. If you are looking for more or ideas, don't hesitate to kind of send me an email and let me know. I have tons of information on all of this stuff. I just couldn't put it all in here. So that concludes the webinar for today. If you have any questions, I think we have time, so you can just write it into that top right hand side and I'll see it and I can respond to it. Okay, so if you don't have questions, why don't you tell me something that you learned in this session that maybe you didn't know before, if anything? That would make me feel a little better. Okay, I see it. Hold on, let me read it. Yes, okay. So the question is, can we view the webinars again after this? Absolutely. So every webinar that we have, we put on our website. We have a YouTube account. So there is a, let me show you here. If you're looking at the computer, I can show you where it is. If you go to our website, GSDSW.org, and you go to volunteers at the top here. And under that, you'll see OWL, Online Workshop for Learning. So if you click on that, you'll see all the sessions listed here. And then usually the most recent one is here. But you can click on them at any time, view them, share them, all of that. So I hope that answered your question. Unless any other questions out there? Did you find this session useful? Okay, so if there's no other questions, I'm going to head and end the session here. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you again at a future webinar. Thank you.